So apparently when I made my last video on Disney Channel original movies, I cracked open a whole can of nostalgia for you guys, and you have been flooding me to cover the movies that I didn't cover. And I don't blame you, honestly. These movies are very legendary and we all love the nostalgia, especially in a time that we're in right now. So let's talk about it, because there's so many more classics that I consider the golden age of Disney Channel original movies. We're talking about Alley Cat Strike, the movie that convinced an entire generation bowling was cool. Side note, it is cool. I love bowling. We've got Jump In, because apparently Corbin Bleu could do it all. Eddie's Million Dollar Cookoff, a film that kind of aged weirdly because apparently cooking is the worst thing a guy can do in his life. Twitches 1 and 2, Disney's spooky, sparkly take on twin magic. Luck of the Irish, where your biggest teenage problem could literally be you turning into a leprechaun. Now you see it, a magic competition show that was way more intense than it had any right to be, in one of my favorite Disney Channel original movies, 13th Year, aka you hit puberty and you turn into a mermaid. Classic tale. Johnny Tsunami, which so many of you have asked for, the reason every kid suddenly wanted to move to Hawaii. And of course, Minutemen, because nothing screams Disney Channel like high school kids building a time machine in a janitor's closet. Yeah, these movies were ridiculous, but they were also everything in our childhoods when we didn't have bills and our biggest issues was math homework. So let's get into it, and starting it off with Alley Cat Strike.
Let's watch a Disney Channel movie. Let's watch a Disney Channel movie. We're gonna watch a Disney Channel movie. Let's watch a Disney Channel movie. Let's watch a Disney Channel movie.
Alley Cat Strike was released in 2000, but you can definitely tell it's a 90s movie because the 90s didn't end until 2001. We'll get into that later, maybe. This was Disney Channel's attempt to make bowling look lame and cool, and honestly, they kind of pulled it off. Me and my wife rewatched this movie earlier this year, so it's pretty fresh in my head. The story follows Alex, who's basically the poster child of retro bowling culture. His dad owns a bowling alley, of course. He and his ragtag group misfit outcast friends live for bowling, root beer floats, and pretending it's still the 1950s. Then there's Golden Boy Todd, the popular kid who is great at every sport he plays, and he ends up on the bowling team when the town rival decides the final competition will be bowling. And know how I said Todd is good at every sport? Well, he's never bowled before, so he's absolutely horrible. But the entire fate of the town rests on some teenagers playing in a bowling alley. Classic Disney logic. I mean, the movie really leans into that whole be yourself theme. Alex and his friends don't want to sell out to the jocks. Todd struggles between being popular and being authentic. And in the end, the big lesson is that friendship and individuality matter more than winning. You know, the old being confident in yourself and it'll all work out shtick. Classic DCOM message. But let's be real, what everybody remembers from the movie is the final slow motion 7-10 split using science to hit a 7-10 split to win the tournament. Disney framed it like they saved the entire town from destruction, but they honestly might have, because apparently whatever town would lose will have to rename their school to the name of the winner's city. Looking back, Alley Cat Strike is super campy, but that's part of the charm. It wasn't trying to be cool, it was trying to be Disney cool, and for a generation of kids it succeeded at that. Also, I don't know why this movie tried to portray bowling as such a lame nerd sport. It's not. I love bowling. Anyway, let's jump in to the next movie. See what I did there? Just jump into it.
Next, he's knocking out beats in the streets of Brooklyn. Corbin Bleu stars in the Disney Channel original movie, Jump In.
Jump In was released in 2007, right at the height of Disney Channel mania. This movie stars Corbin Bleu, who had just finished teaching the world to get your head in the game, and after rewatching this movie, I realized that this was basically Corbin Bleu's version of High School Musical. See, the story follows Izzy, a boxer in training who basically is expected to follow in his dad's footsteps and become the next great. But when he gets roped into helping his neighbor Mary's double dutch team, he discovers that he's not only good at it, but that he actually loves it secretly. of course. This sets up a big conflict. Is he gonna be the tough boxer his dad wants him to be, or is he gonna follow his heart in a jump rope competition, which in this movie is treated like the Super Bowl and the biggest event in the world. Also, there's this whole part 32 minutes into the movie where Izzy just goes crazy. Like, mind you, he's never double dutched before. Look at this clip. This man is going in. Now, this movie does do the classic Disney thing of turning an activity most people see as common playground game into the most intense sport you've ever seen. They really highlighted the creativity and freedom of jumping rope here, just making it look fun. I mean, the double dutch sequences are filmed like Rocky training montages. There's sweat, there's drama, there's crazy, amazing footwork, and honestly, it works. And by the end, you're convinced that double dutch jump rope is going to be the next big thing that all kids will be doing at recess, and it for sure was at my school. At least everyone was tired of the boring single jump rope and turned to double dutch practically overnight. This movie is probably how I learned to double dutch. Theme wise, it's the same Disney messaging we've seen before. Don't let others define you, do what you love, blah blah blah, and it's okay for boys to do things that aren't stereotypically masculine. You'll hear more and more in that in the next movie too. I thought this movie had some pretty good casting with Keke Palmer as the secondary lead. That brought a bit of legit seriousness to the movie itself. Oh, and there's this one part I also want to highlight. So Rodney, the bully for this movie, starts messing with Izzy and gets water thrown on him by Keke, and Izzy's running away, but as he's running away, he's doing backflips and stunts. I just thought that was unnecessary and hilarious to do mid fight. Whatever. Legacy wise, Jump In is a big hit. It premiered to over 8 million viewers, which made it one of Disney Channel's most watched originals at the time, and it showed off Corbin Blue's charisma outside of High School Musical, proving that he wasn't just Troy Bolton's sidekick best friend. Looking back, Jump In is one of those DCOMs that actually still holds up pretty well. Yeah, it's a little bit cheesy, but it also gave us insane jump rope choreography, catchy songs, and one of the rare DCOM things where the central conflict feels more grounded and more real. At least more grounded than, turning into a mermaid at 13. But don't touch that dial. We'll be talking about Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off after this commercial.
We'll be right back on Disney Channel Summer.
My name is Bella Thorne, and this is the story of the time I found out I have dyslexia. I remember when I started first grade. Right away, it was awful because I couldn't read as well as the other kids. My brain mixed up letters like B and D and M and W. Dyslexia is different for everyone who has it. For me, it just makes it harder to read or write. I started working really hard on how to read better. My family helped me by making me read everything, from menus to cereal boxes to road signs. Today, I read a year above my grade level, and I learned to face problems, not run away from them. Dyslexia makes things hard for me, but not impossible.
You just watched a TTI on Disney Channel.
Let's talk about Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off, the Disney Channel movie that asked the daring question, what if a boy cooked?
You need to leave!
Released in 2003, this movie follows Eddie, a baseball player who finds out that he loves cooking. He discovers a competition where the winner gets a cooking scholarship, but of course, his dad, his teammates, pretty much the entire town act like he just announced that he wants to join the circus. They look at him like this is the craziest thing he's ever done. Also, I want to make a point before I actually watched this movie. I thought it was about Eddie from That's So Raven having a cook-off because he's in the movie, he's on the poster, but no, the other kid is named Eddie. But yeah, me and my wife, we watched this movie recently as well, and let me tell you, I don't know if this movie aged well at all because the way everyone reacts to Eddie cooking is insane. His friends are disgusted. His dad is borderline ashamed of him. They literally treat him making a sauce like he's betraying the entire male species.
You know, it's against the law to read other people's mail.
Oh, they didn't open it. Your home ec teacher called to share in our excitement.
You don't look very excited.
Oh, really? Because nothing excites me more than having my son lie to me and sneak around behind my back. And this cook-off thing, what's that about?
It's nothing. It's just a thing.
Obviously, this isn't coming as a big surprise to you.
No.
Eddie, is there some reason you told your mother and not me?
I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I guess I was just afraid.
They don't say it outright, but you can feel the subtext of what they want to say in this movie. Real men don't cook. Like, his dad was about to have a real heart-to-heart talk with them, which is hilarious because in 2005, I would say most of the famous chefs on TV are men. Gordon Ramsay, like, people, even in the movie itself, Bobby Flay is the main head chef judge. So I'm really confused like what they were going for. But with that being said, Eddie's journey is actually pretty solid once you get past the over-the-top reactions. The movie plays out like your classic follow your passion story. Baseball or cooking, sports or creativity, family expectations versus personal dreams. And credit where it's due, Disney Channel did try to make an important point. It's okay to break stereotypes and do what makes you happy instead of just sticking to the status quo. Sounds very familiar, doesn't it? Of course, because it is a DCOM, the big climax come down to, you guessed it, Eddie literally leaving their championship baseball game to go do his cooking competition. I also want to emphasize that the baseball team does end up winning without Eddie, but Eddie apparently does not win the cook-off at all, which I think is absolutely hilarious. The whole thing that they made such a big deal about and didn't even announce Eddie as one of the winners is so funny. Did he win or not? Looking back, whatever. Looking back, Eddie's Million Dollar Cookoff is one of those movies that's both cringy and kind of charming. The gender role stuff feels a bit outdated, but the heart of the story, chasing your dream even when people don't get it, still holds up. Plus, it gave us Bobby Flay playing himself, which was probably the most shocking cameo any of us have ever seen on Disney Channel at the time.
Stay right there. Twitches will be right back.
And now back to Disney Channel's original movie, Twitches.
Next up, we got Twitches and its sequel, Twitches 2, released in 2005 and 2007 respectively. These movies gave us the ultimate Disney Channel dream team, Tia and Tamera Mowry, fresh off the success of Sister Sister and a few other movies like 17 Again. The plot is like classic fantasy. Twin sisters separated at birth discover that on their 21st birthday that they have magical powers and are destined to save their kingdom, Coventry, from an evil darkness. Yeah. Quite a lot to discover on your birthday. Basically, the Parent Trap meets Sabrina the Teenage Witch meets 13th Year, but with way more sparkly special effects and questionable CGI. The first movie is all about the sisters Alex and Cameron meeting, bonding, and learning how to use their magic. The girls are adopted by two different families and grow up in opposite worlds. I mean, Alex lives in a small one-bedroom apartment with a working-class mother, while Cameron lives in a mansion and wants nothing. Not wants nothing, like she wants and wants for nothing. Disney had to sneak in a little bit. They come from different worlds. Oh my goodness, commentary about their different upbringings. When the girls are united on their 21st birthday, their powers start to form, and their birth mother Miranda, who thought her precious daughters were dead, can sense that they are now alive. At the heart of it, it's about family identity and realizing you're stronger together. And honestly, Tia and Tamara's chemistry sells the whole thing. Without them, I don't think this movie would have worked half as well. Real family or siblings in movies like Cowbell, Sweet Life Movie, Twitches, Hannah Montana will always, in my opinion, end up having a more natural performance with each other. Now, the sequel, Twitches 2, takes things up a notch. This time, they're adjusting to life as magical royalty while also trying to live their normal life. The darkness returns, of course, because no fantasy villain ever really dies, and the sisters have to dig even deeper into their powers to defeat it. It's basically Empire Strikes Back, but with matching outfits and sparkling energy blasts. But what's great about these movies is that they lean fully into the Disney Halloween vibe. A little spooky, a little goofy, but not like nightmare fuel kind of way. It was for kids. It was just the right amount of scary. The CGI has not aged great. I mean, it is a low budget Disney movie made in the early 2000s. There are moments where the magical effects look like they were made on Windows 98 screensaver, but it adds to the charm of the time. Twitches was a big hit and gave Disney Channel another Halloween staple along Halloween Town. Tia and Tamara were already icons, and this cemented their Disney legacy for a whole new generation. And To this day, people still watch Twitches every October, which is coming up very soon. It's got a cozy, nostalgic Halloween energy, which reminds me, what are some of the things that you like to see me cover this October, Halloween specials, etc.? Let me know down in the comments. Also, subscribe if you like. I really appreciate you all. Let's talk about the next movie, Luck of the Irish.
This summer, Disney Channel's biggest stars from around the world will come together for an epic battle. Where will you be? It's the 2007 Disney Channel Games, coming next month on Disney Channel.
Hey, I'm Miley Cyrus from Hannah Montana, and you're watching Disney Channel.
Released in 2001, Luck of the Irish is the movie that made every kid in middle school feel a bit paranoid about their family heritage. The story follows Kyle, a teenager who's basically the golden boy at his school. He's lucky at sports, lucky with friends, just a walking four-leaf clover of a person. But then he finds out that the true source of all that luck, his mom, is secretly a leprechaun. Yes, you heard that right. He's part leprechaun, and when an evil leprechaun steals his family magical coin, oh, so sad, Kyle starts shrinking and turning ginger and sprouting pointed ears like it's some kind of supernatural puberty. Now, as a kid, this movie was great. It was funny. It was weird. It's still funny and weird. It had basketball showdowns with leprechauns. The big climax is literally Kyle playing a high skates basketball game against the villain leprechaun with his family's freedom on the line. The biggest stakes all coming down to a game of some type is the most hilarious thing you can do in a Disney movie, or really any movie for that matter. The themes here are all about like identity and heritage, Kyle learning to embrace where he comes from instead of just coasting through life on luck. It's a nice message, but the delivery is a little bit chaotic, especially since half the movie is just him getting roasted for being short. Memorable moments are Kyle shrinking down mid-basketball game, his mom going full leprechaun mode, the villain's evil Irish accent that was turned up to 1,000,000, and of course the random river dance sequence, because apparently you're Irish in a Disney Channel movie, but you're not Irish if you don't river dance, legally, like by law. Legacy-wise, Luck of the Irish became one of those DCOMs that people never forgot, even if they only saw it once. It was so ridiculous that it stuck, and to this day, if we bring it up, someone in the room will go, wait, wasn't that one where that kid turns into a leprechaun during a basketball game? And yeah, it is.
A symphony of rumors.
Sergey is in love with Barbara and they're gonna move back to Russia and raise llamas.
Might ruin Cody's duet.
We're through!
Sweet Life. New episode Saturday at 7:30, 6:30 Central on Disney Channel.
This next one is one of my personal favorites. Now You See It, released in 2005. And honestly, this one does not get talked about enough. I feel like a lot of people slept on this movie or just don't remember at all. Please tell me if you remember it in the comments. I will like and heart your comment if you remember this movie. The plot follows Allison, played by Ali Mashaka, who's an aspiring TV producer. She ends up working on this reality show about young magicians, kind of like America's Got Talent, but exclusively card tricks and disappearing rabbits. So basically the best part of America's Got Talent. Yes, I said it. Enter Danny Sinclair, one of the contestants who at first, he seems like just another cocky magician, but pretty quickly it becomes clear that his tricks are a little good. A little too good. He makes things vanish in ways that the judges can't explain. Naturally, Allison gets suspicious. Is Danny a prodigy or something supernatural going on? That's where this movie really stands out. Most DCOMs give us sports, dance, or quirky high school drama, but Now You See It is part magic show, part mystery thriller. As Allison gets closer to Danny, she starts realizing his powers might be real, and of course, there's a shady mentor figure, Max, who wants to use those powers for himself. And for some of us, it stuck because it felt different. I mean, plus Ali Mashaka brought the perfect mix and charm of curiosity to carry the whole thing. And looking back, Now You See It is easily one of the most rated DCOMs ever. It had magic, it had mystery, and maybe that is enough for me to put it in my personal DCOM Hall of Fame.
Cody had it all.
You are so lucky to be dating Cody Griffith.
Feels like I'm king of the world.
Until he turned 13.
Something's seriously wrong with me.
And grew some fins.
I think you're a mermaid.
A what?
A fish boy?
As if growing up weren't hard enough.
A month ago, I was completely normal.
Imagine having to hide your flippers.
Next time I take a bath, I'm probably gonna sprout gills and a tail.
Dive into the 13th year. Tomorrow at 8/7 Central.
You actually think that Cody's a mermaid? Merman.
13th Year came out in 1999 and was one of Disney Channel's strangest but most unforgettable movies. The story follows Cody, a seemingly normal 13-year-old kid who's just really great at swimming. He has a supportive family and is just living that classic late 90s, early 2000s teen life. Then, on his 13th birthday, things get a little teeny weeny bit weird. He starts getting scales on his skin. I think his hands get really sticky too. He can talk to sea animals, and pretty soon it's revealed that he's actually turning into a mermaid. Merman. Is he cursed? No, he's not cursed. It turns out that his real birth parents, well, his mom was a mermaid who left him with a human family as a baby, and now puberty has arrived, which in this universe means congratulations, you're growing fins. The rest of the movie is about Cody trying to balance his new sea creature identity while keeping it a secret from his friends, his soon-to-be girlfriend, and a fisherman who's determined to prove that mermaids are indeed real. This movie also would have greatly benefited from a sequel. It kind of just ends with Cody going into the water with his mermaid mom to, I guess, live in the sea, but like, is he gone forever? What about his adoptive parents? I don't know. We really need answers to that. Also, him getting scales makes him even better at swimming, which people are like, okay, he's cheating. Now, me and a lot of people who grew up with this one remember how serious Disney Channel played it. Like, they treated this boy turning into a mermaid situation like a full-on superhero origin story. You've got the body horror element of the scales popping up. You've got him panicking as he can't stop sticking to walls like Spider-Man, and then you've got the do I belong on the land or do I belong in the sea identity crisis. It's part fantasy, part puberty metaphor, and all kinds of weird. And his new best friend Jess was acting like the world's nerdiest marine biologist sidekick. The final scene where Cody fully transforms and just swims off with his mermaid mom was low-key emotional, but also made every kid watching go like, is he just abandon his human life? What about his parents? What about his girlfriend? What about his friends? Like, is that over? Whatever. The 13th Year is a Disney Channel cult classic. It's definitely goofy, but by today's standards, it is also one of the most creative and daring premises that Disney has ever greenlit. Like, imagine being in the pitch meetings. So this kid turns 13, right? And instead of getting acne, he grows gills. And like everyone at Disney just said, yes, that's it, run it. Rewatching it now, it is equal parts cheesy and equal parts fascinating. But for anyone who saw it as a kid, it's impossible to forget. It is one of these movies where that made you wonder, like, if maybe, just maybe, your awkward middle school years would end with you discovering that you too also had some weird superpower. But now, let's kick up the energy with the movie so many of you have specifically requested. I'm talking about Johnny Tsunami.
Dude, this surfer's making waves with a snowboard. The Disney Channel original movie, Johnny Tsunami. Next, here on Disney Channel. Disney Channel. Disney Channel.
Disney Channel movie.
Johnny Tsunami was released in 1999, and honestly, it is apparently one of the crown jewels of the Disney Channel original movie lineup. This story follows Johnny Kapahala, a laid-back kid from Hawaii who loves nothing more than surfing with his grandpa, who, by the way, is a legendary surfer known as Johnny Tsunami. Life's chill until his dad gets a new job and the family relocates all the way to Vermont, which, spoiler alert, does not have waves and is pretty much a landlocked state. Instead of surfing, Johnny's new world revolves around snowboarding and skiing. The movie sets up this classic underdog clash, the rich, preppy ski kids versus the laid-back snowboarders, and Johnny's caught right in the middle, trying to fit in while staying true to who he is. You know the shtick of all the Disney Channel movies at this point, but who you want to be and don't let others tell you what to do, basically, that's what this movie is. What makes Johnny Tsunami works is the cultural clash. Johnny brings his Hawaiian values, family, friendship, and respect into this totally different environment. I mean, his dad is super strict and wants him to conform, but Johnny learns from his grandpa that being true to yourself is more important than fitting in. It's a story about identity and finding your place, wrapped up in some pretty fun snowboarding montages. There's plenty of memorable moments, like Johnny stepping onto a snowboard for the first time and absolutely wiping out, the showdown between skiers and snowboarders that turns into the most intense Disney Channel slope race of all time, and of course Grandpa Johnny rolling in with his words of wisdom, his wise words, and his totally cool dad energy. The themes are solid. It's all about generational wisdom, respecting your roots, and not letting labels define you. Plus, Johnny's relationship with Sam, the comic relief best friend, adds some great humor to the balance, the heavier stuff. It became one of the most iconic DCOMs, so much that Disney made a sequel in 2007, Johnny Kapahala Back on Board. The sequel wasn't quite as memorable, but the original still stands as one of Disney Channel's best. And I think that honestly, I remember the sequel more than the original, but they changed the name. So I thought they were like two totally unrelated movies because I didn't see the original. Rewatching now, it's got all the late 90s cheese, the slang, the outfits, the extreme sports energy, but the heart of it still holds up. It's one of those DCOMs that actually had something to say, even if it was wrapped in like ski lift drama. But yeah, I see why so many of you were pushing for me to cover this movie. It is not one of my favorites, not exactly, but I do get why so many of you love it.
Next, in high school, everyone could use a do-over. Turn back the clock with Corey in the House's Jason Dolly in Disney Channel's original movie, Minutemen.
And last but certainly not least, we've got Minutemen, which dropped in 2008 and was basically Disney Channel's version of a sci-fi blockbuster. The story follows Virgil, a classic DCOM underdog, just overall not popular, not a jog, just trying to survive high school. After a humiliating moment happens freshman year, he teams up with his nerdy genius friend Charlie and awkward sidekick Zeke to build... Wait for it. You're really not going to believe this unless you see the movie. To build a time machine out of equipment that they find in the janitor's closet at school. Because in Disney Channel logic, apparently all you need to time travel is some old hockey gear and a laptop and some geek behind that laptop. At first, they use the time machine for harmless stuff like fixing embarrassing moments, things I think most people would try to change. They also help other people avoid little mistakes, but of course, it doesn't take long before they realize that messing with the past has huge consequences. Every time they fix something, the ripple effects start messing with reality, and before long they're in way over their heads, and it builds to a climax where they have to make a big choice: keep rewriting time or accept fate as it is and just move forward. I do like the idea behind this story. It really emphasizes that the past is the past and you just have to accept it and move forward. That is life. What makes Minutemen stand out is that it actually went for it. Most DCOMs were about sports, magic, or music, but this one tried to tackle legit science fiction, paradoxes, wormholes, the dangers of changing the past. Granted, the special effects look like they were rendered on a flip phone, but the ambition was there. The characters are a big part of why it works too. Jason Dolly plays Virgil with that perfect balance of goofiness and heart. Charlie's nerd energy is off the charts, and Zeke's wannabe cool guy act is comedy gold. Together they feel like an unlikely trio that you just can't help but root for. There are plenty of memorable scenes like the boys in their ridiculous white snowsuits that made them look like rejected Power Rangers, and of course the time vortex sequence where Disney Channel clearly blew half their budget on like the CGI swirls. Legacy wise, Minutemen was a late era DCOM, but it became a fan favorite because it dared to be weird. It proved Disney Channel could do more than just sports or musicals. They could give you a high concept time traveling story with heart, humor, and just enough camp to make it unforgettable. Minutemen may not have changed the future, but it definitely earned its place in Disney Channel history. See what I did there? So that's a wrap up on round 2 of the golden age of Disney Channel original movies. We covered bowling matches that decided town rivalries, kids turning into mermaids, time traveling janitor squads, double dutch battles that look like the Olympics, and of course leprechaun basketball. Truly no one was doing it like Disney Channel in the late 90s and in the early 2000s. Looking back, some of these movies aged like fine wine and some of them aged like expired milk, but hey, they all hit that perfect perfect mix of cheesy, campy, and nostalgia that made them just unforgettable. So the question is, do we stop here or do we keep digging into the vault? Because if the comments on the first video taught me anything, is that there are plenty more DCOMs that I probably missed and that you all want to revisit. Either way, thanks for hanging out with me and reliving another round of childhood fever dreams. Let me know which DCOM is your favorite, which one scarred you for life, which one do you think deserve a spot in a part 3. Make sure you all subscribe, like, and share this video. Also, give me hype. There's a new YouTube feature where you can hype this video down below. I really appreciate you all. I thank you all, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.